The screen shows endless sand dunes at sunrise. The camera pans to reveal massive oil derricks pumping rhythmically, their familiar silhouettes representing decades of wealth and power. Then, a sudden transition. The same desert landscape now shows construction cranes against a futuristic skyline, solar panels stretching to the horizon, and luxury tourists where oil workers once stood. For nearly a century, the global economy has been built on a simple equation. Middle East equals oil. The black gold beneath the sand-funded empires shaped global politics and created some of the world's wealthiest nations. But that era is ending. A silent revolution is transforming the region, and the stakes couldn't be higher. This is the story of the Middle East, this desperate race against time to build a future beyond oil. A 3 trillion transformation that will determine whether these nations thrive or become relics of the fossil fuel age. The revolution has a name and a deadline: Saudi Vision 2030. Spearheaded by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, it's the most ambitious economic makeover in modern history. The goal is simple, yet staggering: to wean the Saudi economy off oil by 2030. The scale is almost unimaginable. Megaprojects worth hundreds of billions, social reforms overturning decades of tradition, and a complete reimagining of what Saudi Arabia means to the world. At the heart of this vision lies NEOM, a $500 billion futuristic city being carved out of the desert along the Red Sea coast. It's more than just a city, it's a statement of intent. NEOM promises flying taxis, artificial moons, robotic maids, and a linear city called The Line that will stretch 170 kilometers through the desert without cars or roads. Critics call it a fantasy, but the bulldozers don't lie. The construction is underway, and the world is watching. But Saudi Arabia isn't alone in this transformation. The United Arab Emirates, particularly Dubai and Abu Dhabi, have been quietly building the blueprint for a post-oil economy for decades. While oil still funds much of the UAE's budget, Dubai generates less than 5% of its GDP from oil today. The emirate has transformed itself into a global hub for trade, tourism, finance, and innovation. Its success story provides both a model and a challenge for its larger neighbor. Dubai proved it was possible to build an economy not just beyond oil, but beyond any single commodity. It became a city built on ambition itself. The financial engine behind this transformation is perhaps the most powerful, yet least understood force in global economics: sovereign wealth funds. These state-owned investment vehicles have amassed staggering war chests from decades of oil revenues. Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund aims to control $2 trillion in assets by 2030. Abu Dhabi's Mubadala and ADQ, together with the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, control over $1.5 trillion. These aren't just passive investment funds. They're strategic weapons being deployed to build the economies of the future. They're buying stakes in everything from Uber to SpaceX, building domestic manufacturing capabilities, and funding the massive infrastructure projects that will define the new Middle East. The transformation extends far beyond construction and investment. Saudi Arabia is betting big on tourism, with a goal of attracting 100 million visitors annually by 2030. The Red Sea Project and Amala are developing luxury tourism destinations that aim to compete with the Maldives and French Riviera. Entertainment, once virtually non-existent in the kingdom, is now a growth industry, with concerts, sporting events, and even cinema becoming part of daily life. The social reforms have been as dramatic as the economic ones. Women driving, mixed-gender events, and the opening to international tourists would have been unthinkable just a decade ago. And the energy transition itself is another crucial pillar. These nations aren't just moving beyond oil, they're positioning themselves to lead the next energy revolution. Saudi Arabia aims to generate 50% of its energy from renewables by 2030 and is investing heavily in green hydrogen. The UAE, already nuclear-powered with its Baraka plant, is hosting COP28 and positioning itself as a global climate leader. The irony is rich. The nations that grew wealthy on fossil fuels are now betting their future on leading the world away from them. The tech sector represents another major battlefield. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are in a fierce competition to become the tech hub of the Middle East. When Saudi Arabia announced it would stop giving contracts to companies without regional headquarters in the kingdom, it sparked a gold rush. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and dozens of other tech giants have since established their Middle East headquarters in Riyadh. The UAE is fighting back with its own advantages: more established infrastructure, greater social freedom, and Abu Dhabi's G42 emerging as an AI powerhouse. But the path forward is fraught with challenges. Can these nations really create enough jobs for their young, growing populations? Can they develop the private sectors needed to replace oil revenues? Can they maintain social stability through such rapid change? The risks are enormous. If Vision 2030 fails, Saudi Arabia could face economic crisis and social unrest. The entire region's stability hangs in the balance. The implications extend far beyond the Middle East. If successful, this transformation could create new global economic powers less dependent on oil revenues and more integrated with the world economy. It could reshape global supply chains, create new financial centers, and redefine the balance of power in the 21st century. If it fails, the consequences could ripple through global markets and destabilize the world's most important energy region. The screen returns to the desert, but now the oil derricks are gone. In their place, solar farms stretch toward the horizon, high-speed rail lines cut through the sand, and futuristic cities rise against the setting sun. The Middle East is betting everything on this vision. The question is no longer whether the region will change, but what it will become when the transformation is complete. The post-oil future is being built today in the Arabian Desert, and its success or failure will echo across the global economy for generations to come.